Hello, this is Blue Star, defender of Equestria, and this is an afterthoughts review of Equestria Games, which actually turned out to be a Spike episode. I must admit I am disappointed that the Equestria Games were actually about Spike, and bummer. That, yeah, it would have been nice to have gone into the Equestria Games, how were they created, what was their purpose, stuff like that, but you know what, this situation is not exactly what you'd call new in the show. We've always wanted to know more. Still, they built this whole Equestria Games thing up, and it just sort of happens in the background of a Spike episode, which, that kind of bites. But I do have to kind of agree with A and Y, Pony, that this is actually not a bad way to do this. That, in a way, would an episode that was solely about the Equestria Games and, just watching ponies do events, would that be interesting, and would that fit the style of the show? And to a point, I think, no, it's not. I don't think that episode in a way would work very well. So this actually kind of works. So, but I still would have liked to learn more about the Equestria Games themselves. But moving beyond that, there were also a lot of other interesting things. Personally, yeah, we did get to see Shining Armor again in his armor, which I must admit I liked. There were a lot of interesting background ponies, including Prince Blue Blood, the Saddle Arabian ponies, a couple ponies we've never seen before. All the princesses were here. Although, interestingly, only Twilight and Cadence got to speak. I did really like that moment with Celestia and Twilight, where Twilight's cheering for Ponyville, and Celestia's she's just like, oh my gosh, Twilight, and then just casually, politely turns to Twilight and just looks at her. It's like, no, Twilight, you mustn't do that. I like that. That's interesting in itself that, in theory, yeah, the princesses can't, in theory, root for their home teams, because that would be picking sides and everything, and in theory, they're supposed to be neutral, so that's interesting. That was fun. I like that. And again, Celestia's not being really harsh on her. She's just trying to, kind of subtly hint to Twilight. It's like, no, Twilight, don't do that. You're a princess now. You can't do that. Aw, and I'm sure Twilight was wishing she was down with her friends and everything like that. But anyway, there were a lot of other interesting things. It's like the disabling spell. That was interesting. But I have to admit, to a point, some of those things were more interesting than the main story itself. So now moving to the actual point of this episode, which was Spike. I hope the Crystal Ponies give him a shorter title, because wow, that's I can't remember the full title, but it's like, ugh, that's a mouthful. Yes, I still think that, yeah, I think the Crystal Ponies are taking the whole Spike hero worship thing a little far. Yeah, he did pretty good, helping to give the Crystal Heart to the Crystal Ponies, but was it enough to really warrant him making him the national hero? I don't think so. But having said that, Spike was pretty cool in this episode in a way. Yeah, poor guy. Oh, poor guy with the singing. Oh, that was awful. That will always be awful. Oh, even though it was meant to be awful, yeah, that was just too much. It was definitely, oh, please make it stop. Cut to commercial, please. Have mercy. Poor guy. Really, if I was Spike in this position, I think I would just hum. I have to say, this episode caught me off guard for a lot of different reasons. I think the main one being that I was surprised by how much I actually relate to this lesson, because this is definitely a difficult lesson to peg for me in a way, because it's like I just, in a way, identify with it, but I don't really know how, or maybe I don't want to admit that I identify with this lesson, that I sometimes I get praise from people and I'm like, yeah, I'm just doing my job. I'm doing what I had to do. It's not a big deal. And you know what? To a point, that's not good. That's the flip side to being humble. Sometimes you can definitely be too humble sometimes, and not acknowledge that you did a cool thing, or you did a great heroic thing, Spike, for saving the Crystal Ponies again. I definitely think our culture has the opposite problem, that, yeah, we need to learn to be more humble. What other people think of you isn't important. It's how you think of yourself. If you can't like yourself, nothing that anyone else will say will matter. I must admit, this lesson is difficult for me because it's complicated, I guess. But so, and I really did need to sit down and think about this. But this is an afterthoughts review video. I like this format because I get to just sit in front of the microphone and just talk. And I must admit, it is interesting to see everybody else's reactions to this episode and comment on it. That Epic in general, I mean, most people have been like, yeah, I was disappointed by the Equestria games just being in the background, but I still like this episode, and I definitely feel that way too. Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to have heard more about the Equestria games, and in a way, seen them more in the forefront and everything, but this was still a good episode. It did have a lot of great jokes in it. There was just a lot of great jokes. I mean, the first one I remember is, Rainbow Dash is like, "What's up?" Again, the sunglasses were back. That's cool. Derpy was in this episode as well. There was a lot of cool things. There's a lot of things I think for the fans in this episode, and it was cool. It was nice. I mean, it was half hard episode. It was half fun, and it was cool. And we did get to see the Royal Guard and everything, and that's cool. And they actually got to have lines again. That was cool. Miss Harswitty, she's fun, but harsh. Yeah, so there was just a lot in this episode. It was good. I mean, again, I'm a little disappointed that, the Equestria games weren't featured more. But overall, this was a good one and was surprisingly relatable. Oh, dear. So, overall, this was a good episode and I liked it. So, it's on to the big finale. Oh, dear, I sense much trouble in our future. So charge weapons and ammos, kids. This could be rough. Or this could be awesome. I don't know. I haven't seen the promo, so I don't know anything about what the next episode's going to be about. But I'm sure it will be awesome. So, this is Blue Star. Stay strong and pony on. Blue Star out.